Groundhog's Day here on First Ring Daily because the recording button didn't
Dude,
start.
I was nailing it. You're killing me.
I know. I killed Paul. Well, we'll just leave it at that. I killed Paul.
I was stringing together some thoughts there. This doesn't happen a lot.
It was. So if we could just replay that conversation we just had, Paul, throughout. I
think I started off with "I'm too logical for this world," and then you talked about what a shit show it was yesterday, and how maybe you should have emphasized that more on Monday. And what was your complaint?
My complaint is that Microsoft shipped a patch Tuesday, which should have been March 14th, on February 28th, that has ramifications for products that Stardock makes, which we were prepared for on March 14th. Okay. We were not prepared for them to start showing up on February 28th randomly to any subset of user who went to go look for it. Not release preview, not anything else, just any Joe user.
I apologize. Actually, one of my points, which I will remake, is dulled somewhat by actually a fact that I just now caught in that statement. You also ignored the beautiful imagery of you riding around the Microsoft campus on a unicycle, hurling insults.
How the conversation that didn't get recorded got started, because everybody cares so much, is that we talked yesterday morning about how this thing is coming, and I just sort of glossed over the fact that Microsoft has said, hey, it's available today to everybody, and it just ruined my day, because we had this nice, we were ahead of schedule, we had the patch for Start 11 all done, we were in testing, we were expecting a March 14th release date, and then all of a sudden Microsoft said, hey, anybody can go download this if they go look for it, which is a big deal, because as you might expect, people who use Start 11 and customization apps on Windows, they're a little bit more technical. Like, they're like, I want to go get this. So a large percentage of our user base just goes download this, and
So let me try to reiterate the 3 points I was going to make before, but one of them is not technically as true as it was, as I thought it was. So what I had said was something to the point of, like, I don't mean to disagree with you, but actually just a couple points to that. One is, the way that they rolled it the first moment was much more scatterbrained and was much less reliable and predictable, right? This time they announced it. It was out. Well, it took 4 hours or whatever, but it came out that day, basically available to everybody, no big issues. Last time, I had different results across multiple computers. It was insane. They released a new feature without even talking about it in the search pill. It was the moment one rolled it was a cluster. However, actually, what I just caught was what you said was, because it's accurate. This thing will sort of officially release or go into stable or go to non-seekers, however you want to say it, on March 14th, which is Patch Tuesday, the next Patch Tuesday. The way they did moment one was they released the seeker version on the Patch Tuesday in November. Ostensibly, it took a little longer than that, but so they actually had a month before the official release. This time they did it out of band, so to speak. There is no, what do we call that? It's like week. I gotta look at them.
So you're hitting
it's
on
like
the
non-existent week E. So you're right.
Yeah.
That point is absolutely correct. You're not the only thing broken, right? Stardock is not the only company or whatever the organization.
No. There were quite a few.
Yeah, it's not just Stardock. So that, I don't know if that makes you feel better, but.
Yeah,
God damn it! What was the other point I was going to make?
Well, here's the other fun one.
Yep.
So Microsoft made, if people aren't aware, Microsoft made some really significant changes here. They changed the entire system tray functionality. They went to XAML islands for that. So there's a pretty significant infrastructure change there. But here's the thing, Paul. What do we call this? This isn't like, they're not calling it Moment 2. Like, this is just patch. Not Tuesday, February 28th edition.
Not Tuesday. Well, it's a feature update, lower F, lower U, but not a feature update like we know is right. It's an update of features. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't make fun of this per se, but I did highlight the many different ways Panos Panay referred to this thing: an update, a significant update, a major update. It is a bigger update of features than Moment 1 was, for sure. Right? Yes. There's more going on there. It's interesting to me that they sort of fixed, I hate to use that term, but fixed the issue with the start button on the taskbar by doing what they should have done from day one, by the way, idiots, and not just releasing a search pill out into the world. By the way, they didn't fix the problem with the search pill, which is that when you use the icon, you get the jump list, but when you use the pill, you don't. That's still present, so it's Microsoft. this is a significant update. There are things that once you install the update, you get tabs in Notepad, but you have to update the Notepad app from the store. People are reporting that the Phone Link app has been updated to support the iPhone. That's not true. It's in preview in the release. What do you call it? The Insider program. Although I believe it went out to all channels, not to all users, because again, Microsoft. And actually, that reminded me of my other point. So one of the biggest issues we've had with Microsoft in updating Windows 11, aside from just the insanity of it, I mean, is they have this Insider program that most of it doesn't map to anything, so it's not really clear how stuff is supposed to work. But from a high level, you could make the argument that new features should typically appear in the dev channel first, make their way to the beta channel, make their way to the release preview channel,
Mm-hmm.
and then be released in stable. And I for the most part, that did sort of happen here. And this is the part. This is what I was saying when you realized the recording wasn't being made. Was I did only a little bit of, I don't want to call it research. I just looked at the web, but the build number of this thing, which is 22621 dot whatever, right? Because that's going to change. Was at one point in the beta channel, because there were two different versions, right? One with new features, one without. It did make its way to the release preview channel a week ago. It wasn't that long, but it did actually make that transition. The thing I haven't looked at, and I'm guessing this is not the case, is whether this build number originated in the dev channel. I don't think that it did. I don't know what. I'd have to go look at it. I'm not going to do it during the show, but they're on different build streams or whatever. Anyway, my point to that only is that it did, by and large, follow the right process, which is something that had been missing before, especially with that search pill thing, in which it had been missing entirely. So I sort of appreciate that. But you're right. Whatever date it went to the release preview was possibly a week ago. Like I said, maybe 10 days. I don't remember. For it to go to that, from that to stable, and then for that to happen 2 weeks before Patch Tuesday, I think you could have made the case, maybe wait for March 14th for the first release and then make it April for everybody. But they clearly are trying to rush stuff out. Anyway, I'm sorry for what happened to you, and I understand.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
No, I mean, you're absolutely 100% right. I mean, ignoring large swaths of the customer base out there, because you guys are partners, but I mean, it is just the way things are done now. Like, they're not paying attention to anything. They've shipped features into stable without even testing them. I mean, there's some real problems here. There's this notion that, by the way, I mean, I wrote an editorial about this too. Like, the way they're doing things very much proves that this thing is only for consumers. It's only for consumers. They don't give a crap about business users moving to this thing at all. So all of us out in the world are like, oh my God, like, no one in business is using this. And Microsoft's like, yeah, we don't care. They clearly don't care. I think what they're trying to do is bulk up features over time so that when this thing does go to LTSC, which, by the way, there is no LTSC version of Windows 11 right now, meaning something that gets actually 5 years of support. Windows 11 will be where it should be for a release. Like, Windows 11 was rushed out the door and has been rushed. Every update to it has been rushed out the door ever since. Like, but you know what? This is kind of the way we're used to things happening on the consumer side, right? This is the model Netscape invented, this ship it first and fix it later kind of thing. I think we're just dull to it. Like, this is just the way it is, Apple will release an update to, iOS 16.0, blah, 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 whatever. And then 2 days later, another one comes out because there were problems, or there's some security vulnerability, blah, 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 whatever. I think we're just in this cycle of maintaining devices. This is what we do.
Here's another little fun, I believe, change that happened. I had on my machine upstairs, I haven't tested on everything, so I could be wrong. But on my machine upstairs, I turn off the search. Like, I hide that thing.
Yes, I do too. Yeah.
And after I installed that update, it was back on.
Well, look, there are things. I don't want an Edge icon on my desktop every single time Edge is updated, because Edge is updated like every 4 weeks, I think, right? That's stupid. When there is an update like this that is a major change in functionality, putting it in front of people, I think is okay, because that's something you would notice, A. And it might be the reason you weren't using it before, because that thing was, it didn't offer that functionality before. I wish they would do what Chrome OS does, which is when you update the thing and it reboots, a window pops up and it's like, hey, we just updated your computer. Here's what's new.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of run down the list and you're like, nice, and you can go look at stuff or whatever. Microsoft is a little more passive aggressive. This is the company that puts yellow banners on top of apps you're paying for to advertise a service you already have. And, they're just not very smart about it. Again, they have a corporate need for you to use that thing. Anytime you click on that and you type anything, it goes out to Bing, it goes out to Microsoft services, It hits Microsoft advertising. They'll convert low single digits of people. But you know what?
Correct me if I'm wrong too. Isn't Phone Link? It's in the widgets, right? Which means you have to open the widgets panel. That's where it kind of lives.
Which displays those things.
Which displays the MSN, like 17 helicopters that flew into birds or something like that. Links.
Let me test that right here. That doesn't make sense. Let me just type this and see what it does. Yeah, check this out. I don't know if you can do something on your computer right there if you're on this update. There is actually a major positive change here. Remember that when you select a different browser as you default, there are certain things that always go to Edge. Widgets, like you said, search highlights. Guess what? After moment 2, search results from search highlights open your default browser. They don't go to Edge. Now, my theory is that was a mistake because I know I'm cynical, but their quality oversight is so shoddy because that's the way it should always work. It's easier probably to do that. I bet they were like, oh crap, we're going to have to fix it. I bet either between now and March 14th or on March 14th, when that update actually comes out, we all upgrade, it will start going to Edge again. I don't guarantee, but it seems like a weird thing to step back from. People certainly didn't like it, but people don't like things in Windows, and no one seems to care. So that's a weird one, but test it for yourself, folks. Like, it actually uses your default browser. That was never the case before. So that's interesting. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I'm on board. I'm just still a little perturbed that they're just going to start shipping updates. Patch Tuesday is a legacy date, I guess.
Yeah, well, like everything else, right? I mean, this is all, it's cute that you like terms like RC and RTM and, Patch Tuesday. You think that, whatever. We can update this thing. We're going to only ship one feature update a year. We're going to ship lots of feature updates every year.
Yeah, that has been the biggest lie that Microsoft has told in a while.
They should give it, the annual update should have a different name. I understand why that name came about, but it's just not.
It's not a thing. Like, it doesn't.
Not, I know.
I mean, I'm on version 22H2 February 28th edition.
There's also this nonsense we're surrounded by.